I guess, when Bubba was asked about lessons learned from over the weekend, what kind of your takeaways from kind of a unique situation out there?
I feel like we got a little complacent at the beginning. Going up 21-7 like that, it's I feel like a lot of people kind of started going, "Oh, we got this," like it's not a big deal. But we got caught on our heels and they started coming back. And like Coach Swaggart was saying, when teams have good players, they're gonna make it. They're gonna make you pay for it if you mess up. And we had quite a few busts, and they definitely made us pay for it. So just taking away from that is just. We just got to put in more work. We got to make sure we're making the right calls. We got to make sure we're wrapping up tackles, getting off the field on third down situations, and basically just stuff like that.
People will probably mention this week, so I might as well do it first. This could be looked at as a trap game of sorts against a team in Drake with a bye week and North Dakota State looming. How do you as an older guy, how do you make sure that Drake has your full attention?
You just got to put everything in the past. We here at North Dakota, we take it week by week. We don't look at, down the road or who's after this and so on and so on. So we look at our next opponent because in college football, anything can happen. Crazy upsets just like Montana and Washington last week and stuff like that. You have to take it week by week, and you just have to look at your opponent, find out who their skill players are, find out what we need to do to be successful.
Paul, go ahead. One of the things I think was unique in this game against Utah State, and maybe you'll see it again just because if people see it, they were very unique with their width of their splits. Just lining up was challenging. Is that one of the things you think you may see again down the road, and what do you take away from that?
Honestly, I don't really know if we're going to be able to see that. In the Missouri Valley, a lot of people run the ball, and they like to have the 12 personnel formations and stuff like that. You'd probably see more of that spread, high tempo in the Big Sky, with guys like Eastern Washington, stuff like that. But who knows? If people see how it affected us in the high tempo like that, you could possibly see it in future offenses.
And then finally, just a fun, silly question here. With Potato Bowl week, what is your favorite type of way to enjoy potatoes?
Favorite
Fries,
type
hash browns,
of
mashed potatoes, baked potatoes?
Oh no, I mean that's kind of difficult because there's a whole bunch of different situations. Like I love me some hash browns in the morning with breakfast, but I also love French fries with ranch. But I also like a loaded baked potato with a steak. So it all depends. I love potatoes in general.
I was just asking Bubba this. I just counted it. It's 11 games in a row you guys have won inside your own home building. I mean, how wild is that to kind of think of that stat? And is that something you guys talk about, the amount of established dominance you've had inside the Alaris Center?
Yeah, it's huge. I don't know if Bubba has ever talked about it or Coach Reichert's ever talked about this, but we call it the Alaris magic. There's something different about there. Going out there playing in the all black jerseys, it's a completely different feeling because when we get going, the crowd gets going, and then when offense and defense start feeding off of each other, and you hear that loud cannon go off when we score a touchdown, everybody on kickoff just gets super hyped, and it's just we do talk about it as a defense because we don't lose at home. So that's a big thing for us going into this week.
I know there's been a couple injuries, particularly in the linebacker. Gordo Jackson was shaken up on Friday night. Ray obviously went down. When that happens, how much do you, as another linebacker, have to step up your production, or at least have to, I don't know if the word compensate is the correct word, but how much do you have to step in when you have experienced guys like that go down or get shaken up?
At the outside linebacker, I feel like we actually have some really, really good depth. We actually have quite a few older guys. We have Teddy Mullen, Marcus Vaughn Jones, who are going to be their fourth years. Myself, Josh Navratil, he's been playing 2 years, and I just feel like we have really good depth there. I feel like we know what we're doing, and if somebody does go down, I think Coach Halinka feels as if he can trust us, and so I think at the outside linebacker group we have pretty good depth.
How much of a learning experience was it for you guys to play on Friday? Playing against an FBS school in an FBS stadium. Kind of, what are some takeaways you guys had from that?
I would say, a lot of people look at FBS like they're the FCS big brother and, they have more talent and stuff like that. But in reality, what we were taught is just look at it as another game. You know, they're 18 to 23 just like us. You know, they're waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, going to workouts and doing the same thing we are. It's cool being in an environment like that. You know, a lot of fans, big student sections and stuff like that. It's cool to learn because it'll help you build up in the future, especially going up against like NDSU and places like that where, you know, the crowd is difficult and stuff. But other than that, you know, it's, you know, a loss is a loss, and you take learning experiences from that of trying to get better.
Talking about that loss, man, what were your biggest takeaways about? Kind of what do you feel like you guys have to start moving forward on?
Definitely, you know, finishing it off when we're up like that, putting our foot on the throat, and just continue to execute. You know, we had to. We missed a lot of opportunities that we could have capitalized on, and both offense and defense. I think we both need to finish harder because, like I said earlier, offense and defense, we both feed off of each other really well. And so, like, when we start going down, you know, it's difficult for both of us to try to get momentum going again. And so, but when we're together, feeding off of each other, we're a team to beat.
Yeah, Coach mentioned just sustaining momentum from your end. How do you do that?
You know, get out, you know, on third down, you know, stop them short, you know, get TFLs, get sacks, get interceptions, get the ball out, making big plays on special teams, you know, tackling somebody behind the 20 or, you know, blocking a punt, stuff like that is very big for momentum. And on defense, if we can get out in 3 downs, that's huge because then it gives our offense more opportunity to be on the field longer.
Tommy, just as you kind of look back and reflect on the game, what were your takeaways and how you feel like you guys played?
I think obviously we started hot. We had a great opening plan. Coach had a great plan. He was calling good plays early, and you know we were really just executing them. First drive we had a couple big third down conversions and a touchdown, and a couple other ones, and that was really the story. We were executing early, and then we had some mistakes in the second quarter. We kind of lost momentum, and then we never really regained it back throughout the second half.
What do you think you guys can do offensively to get Otis going a little bit more? Did you feel like Utah State was really keen on him? Could you tell that it was a focus to take him away? What do you guys need to do to get the ground game back on track?
Yeah, we had a couple lost yardage plays, but I think when we went into some of our heavier personnel, they're low in the box a little bit. I think that was one thing that helped them stop us when we went heavier personnels. But I think just continue to spread the ball out, you know, make them defend the whole field is something we're going to look to do more.
Paul, do you have anything? Go ahead. Just turning the page now, getting to your first home game of this season, getting back to the Alaris Center and Drake coming in. What's the feeling like, basically, just turning that page?
We're excited to be playing back at the Alaris. It's always fun to play home games. We're just trying to put everything, you know, the first 2 games behind us, you know, learn what we can learn. You know, there's a lot to learn from, made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of good that we can build off of, but I think just putting it behind us, you know, learning, and then looking forward to playing back at home.
Tommy, I asked the coach this. You had 3 different guys come in and toss touchdown passes in the game. Has that ever happened in your career when you've been a quarterback? Have you ever seen that happen before? And is that something that, I think you just said that you expect to do those kinds of things a little bit more to maybe confuse defenses or something?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. It's never happened. It's interesting. It's cool, but Coach Freund and the offensive staff they're very creative. You know, they're always looking to find ways to put the defense on their heels, and I think things like that you see. We're always looking to do creative stuff to find an advantage. So yeah, it definitely helps us out when we can do stuff like that.
I think it's just like your second time you've thrown multiple interceptions in a game, and I know you're not a guy that gets too high or too low, but what was the biggest takeaway for you in terms of those mistakes that you made to correct going into this week against Drake?
I just, you know, clean up decision making. It was just bad decision. Late first half, I just forced it over the middle, and then late in the game we were pushing it down the field and just shouldn't have made the throw. Linebacker made a good play, but just keeping focus and just decision making every single play, not losing focus, and that's pretty important for me.
I asked both Coach and Ty this, but like 11 games in a row you guys have won at home. You've been a part of that. Is that kind of wild to think about the dominance that you've kind of established there? Is that something that guys talk about, just what you guys can do at home?
Yeah, it's great to play at home. We have a great group of fans that come out, very supportive of us. It's a great environment. I think anytime you play at home, it's a lot easier than playing on the road. It's you have the crowd behind you, so yeah, I think we feed off it, and yeah, we've 11 in a row, so hope to keep it going.
Kind of what's the mood like after a game like you guys had on Friday night? Kind of what's the mood like when you guys leave the field, and how do you kind of balance those emotions after a loss like that?
It's really disappointing after a game like that. You know, it hurts anytime you lose, and especially when you feel like you had it. You had a game, you kind of let it slip away. But yeah, there's a lot to correct. So I mean, at this point, we're over it. We're on to Drake. So yeah, but it's disappointing on the 24-hour rule. But it's disappointing for that time. But we're over it and moving on now.
You kind of see the guys being able to move on from it very quickly. Do you guys feel like you guys are going to be able to toss that one to the side in a pretty fast manner?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously going to use it to learn, and obviously it can help us get better, and we'll need it. It was a good experience for us, but yeah, we're focused on this week. You know, you can't let one game affect the next, and you know, it's a big game this week, so we're focused.
Hey, Tommy, Coach talked about a lot about sustaining momentum. How do you do that on your end?
Just executing plays. I mean, that was the difference. The first 3 drives, we connected. We executed the calls, and then the second quarter, we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit. I think plays were there. We just didn't make them. So I think the biggest thing is just maintaining focus, no matter what the score is, and keeping momentum.
I asked Ty this too, but how do you make sure that the focus is on Drake with the way the schedule is playing out here, where you got a bye kind of looming after that with the game that a lot of people have circled with North Dakota State after that? How do you make sure that the focus is on Drake?
I think Coach does a good job of really day by day, but an opponent by opponent basis, and every game's important. Every game's really the same. I mean, obviously some have some bigger implications if it's a higher ranked team or whatnot, but I think it's just an opportunity to get another win and build. Every week you learn a lot about your team and a lot of ways to improve. So I think every week is really important, and I think we'll be ready to go on Saturday.